Party people, well, welcome once again to the Party of One podcast, the actual play RPG podcast where the gaming table is always set for two. I'm your host as always, Jeff Stormer. This week on the show, I am joined by Rene Legault for a game of The Magical Year of a Teenage Witch. The Magical Year of a Teenage Witch is a GM-less storytelling and journaling game about a young witch coming into their power. By answering prompts, you discover who your witch is, who their friends are, what magical experiences they have, and which powers they learn as they move through the 4 seasons of their magical year. This game was, I almost said magical, that feels cheesy, so I'm going to say wonderful. The prompts are joyful and evocative. The story that we created was magnificent and really sat in my heart for a long time after we recorded. This episode is something special. This game is something special, and you should check it out. You can find more information about the game at Swashtalk, that's swashtalk.itch.io, or check the show notes for more information. Rene is the host of Rene Plays Games, which is a podcast about highlighting smaller tabletop RPGs, interviewing folks from the hobby, and talking about how to be a better player, game master, and how to make the most out of the hobby in general. To put it simply, if you like the kind of gameplay experiences that we have on Party of One, it seems the most up your alley that a podcast can possibly be. You can find more information about the show wherever you get your podcasts or follow them on Blue Sky at Rene Plays Games. Before we dive in, we do have a new Patreon backer to thank, Rebecca Rudnerath. Thank you so much for your support on Patreon. You make the show possible. You make all of these things possible. And I hope you have a great day. Patreon backers get access to all kinds of fun stuff, bonus series like Party of One Says Go Birds, which is our monthly live show at Unity Java, Party of 1+1, which is our side series on sequel episodes and bonus things, Batman Bump in the Night, which is the Batman fanfiction podcast I record with my good friend Marn, and truly whatever other stuff I'm working on at a moment. You can find all of that at patreon.com/JeffStormer. And with all that said, let's go ahead and throw it over to me in the past so that he can get started with the show. Take it past me. Thanks, future me. I am so excited. I know that we just we sat down for our character creation stuff, which you listener can hear on Patreon. And I'm so excited. I'm sitting down with Rene Legault. Rene, thank you so much for coming on Party of One.
Jeff, thank you for having me. Are you kidding? I'm so happy to be here.
I'm really, really excited. I've been looking forward to this recording all day. This is going to be a really wonderful game. But before we talk about the game that we are playing and the characters that we are playing in that game, why don't you take a moment and let our lovely listeners at home know about anything you've got going on that you might want them to know about?
Yeah, sure. So I am also just a huge TTRPG nerd. I am a member of a streaming group that has been doing actual plays for a few years called the DMs After Dark. And recently I am off camera more than I'm on camera. I'm the audio guy for them. And I've started a separate podcast feed that's pretty much just me called the Rene Plays Games podcast, where I'm doing mostly solo RPG stuff, but also playing games with my friends and people that I meet from the community if they want to come on and play games with me. Just trying to signal boost more indie RPGs like you. I'm inspired very much by you, Jeff.
I will one day maybe, you know what? I was about to say I will one day get used to that. I hope I don't. Yeah. I hope I never, ever get used to hearing that, because that will mean that the joy has died in my heart.
Stay humble.
And that's not what we're about here. So, I'm really excited because this week we are playing The Magical Year of a Teenage Witch. This is a journaling game about witches discovering the world, filling out their spell book, making memories and storing those memories for use, and turning memory into literal magic. We have sat down to create our characters together. We went through some prep work for the game, but I want to ask you before we get into it, what are you excited about? When I sent you over a list of games, what was it about this game that really caught your attention?
Yeah, I like cozy a lot. I come from a background when I first started playing games. I think like most people, I was playing D&D, and it was like combat, all this stuff. And I've always just been like my day job, I'm a wetland biologist, so I like to go out in the woods. I like to be just in calm places and tell cozy stories and stuff like that. So I was looking through the ones you sent me. I think one of them was Colossal, which is a great game, but I played it, and then this one was just scratches that itch that, Kiki's Delivery Service, Ghibli, Little Witch, just felt right. Just felt, I've always wanted to be a little magical, right?
Sure, who doesn't?
Who doesn't?
the second that you said to me during character creation that you were a wetlands biologist by day, like a lot of this game clicked into place for me because
Yeah.
like there like a lot of that is a there is a lot of that like visual of like wetlands as somebody that has lived near wetlands at various points in my life, like there's a kind of what I would describe as a surreality like to them as spaces, the way that they are like three different terrains all at
Yes.
once, and like there is a kind of magic to that I think like is a sort of like you got to see it to believe it sensation.
Yeah, not to get too into like why I love my job, but I mean, you're right. Like wetlands are these transitional ecosystems, right? Between terrestrial upland and either rivers or ocean. You have salt marshes, you have swamps. And another thing, you think about swamps and bogs, and traditionally, stereotypically, you find witches' huts in there. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there is a kind of magic there because so much life comes out of there. But people don't like it because it's wet. There's bugs, there's weird plants. You can't eat stuff. It's kind of a weird place. But if you get used to it and go, I recommend everybody listening to this, go find a wetland near you. I'm sure people have made, wood bridges and stuff, and you can walk through it relatively unscathed. It's great. Go out in a wetland.
It's kind of incredible. Like it's kind of an incredible experience.
It is.
Yeah, so like I'm feeling the energy. I really love, I don't know, I love what I would describe as I think listeners will not be surprised when I say the phrase I love everyday magic. I love
Yes.
injecting the weird into the mundane is I think the energy that like I really want to kind of sit with in this game. And I feel like the characters that we've made have such a really interesting and fun like relationship dynamic. We'll get into that in just a moment, but like I think there's a really great space to just like show what I would describe as the day-to-day life of a weird character is the most Jeff Stormer thing that I could possibly put on mic, and which is why I'm so excited about this game here today.
Yeah, I think that if you go back and you listen to the character creation, we clearly came from it from not two totally different places, right? But I mean, I tried not to, but I did inject a little bit of me in there where it was like, oh, my witch is a plant kind of, herbalist. And yours is out there weird crystal ball. Like it was just, injecting the weird into everyday life though, or just little magic, right? We're not talking 9th level spells. We're talking witches exist in this world and they do little things to help people. Like or mess with people.
Yeah, crucially, also mess with people is like a pretty notable piece of our character. So, I want to ask you, talk to me about your character. Tell me a little bit about like who they are, where they've been. The premise for the game at a high level is that we are both undertaking a magical year. This is a journaling game, inspired by 1,000-Year-Old Vampire, which is to say, like, it is a long book of sort of daily prompts designed to help you fill out a journal of your character's kind of adventure. And it is, the premise is that we are witches. We are embarking out into the world to gather memories, learn about the magic of or learn about like how we tap into our magic, the nature of our powers, where we thrive. And basically, like, this is the start of our year. We have a year to kind of experience all of this. This is the start of that story. Talk to me about your character, where they are at the start of this journey.
Yeah, so I think that we decided that my character recently got to the city that will be the place where this is mostly taking place and met you, who's a little older. But before that, I'm playing a young teenage witch named Junie. And Junie is a teenage girl. She is kind of, she was raised by a great aunt named Nita, who is an herbalist, kind of old school witch. Like, close your eyes, think of a witch. That's kind of like what Nita was. But Junie is, modern. She's a modern girl. She's a modern teenage girl. She rocks like, flannels and cardigans and beanies and boots that are, dirty because she works in the garden with her great aunt. But her passion is music, and she wants to go to this big city and learn her magic, which she thinks, and might not be the case, but she thinks probably has to do with magic. She has kind of a affinity or like obsession with distilling emotions or moments into like a perfect encapsulation.
Mm-hmm.
And that has exhibited itself a few times in her life where she like perfectly captured a moment, either doodling with crayons or drawing or sketching or music or lyrics. And they've kind of like come to life unexpectedly. So that's where she's come from.
And I am playing Babadora, also she, her.
Love it.
Babadora is a witch, visually magically fused with a floating crystal ball. Imagine like a crystal ball of glass surrounded by like an ever-shifting cloud, and that cloud takes the shape of a woman in her early 20s. Like Babadora constantly sort of floats and glides about in this ball. Babadora is a lifelong troublemaker. She learned magic from Gorthus the Ancient, who was a magical mentor, also like a sort of the way I described it on character creation was a Mike Mignola drawing of a caveman is the only way that I can describe
it's so good.
Gorthus's vibe. And from a very young age showed a tenacity and a predilection for magic by way, like magic is trickery, specifically con artistry.
Con artistry.
Was scolded very early for bilking suckers out of their money via magic, and had to settle for bilking suckers for the joy of the game, and eventually reluctantly giving them money back at the end of the experience.
But listen, hey, we determined that that's their fault. You know, you're teaching them a lesson. There is good in this.
That's my philosophy. I've been told I still have to give the money back.
Yeah.
Which I don't necessarily agree with, but it is what it is. Babadora has gone to the city a little bit before, of the two of us arrived a little bit earlier, and has set up a little bit of a life. She's got an apartment. It's got some very cool records. She also is big into music, but notably has no interest in like performing or enacting music, simply enjoys listening to it. Keeps too many cats, which is a magical companion that I have.
Your actual magic is too many cats.
Too many cats. But yeah, has a pretty good life, has an apartment above a bowling alley, or apartment above a plant store near a local bowling alley.
Right.
She spends most of her time playing with her pet Windy, who of course is a giant cicada the size of a pretty large house cat. And if you ask her, she would rattle off some of the latest record that she bought at the record store and then say like, what else do you need to know?
Your character is so much cooler than my character. But also, you said also loves music. You're a curator, right?
Yes.
It's about you have taste.
She likes the act of curating music. She has her apartment is very small. Her apartment is like not very large, and a shockingly large amount of that apartment is stacks and stacks and bookshelves of records. The thing is that like when you have access through your crystal ball to the entirety of the astral plane, it turns out you can generally just use your apartment as storage space for stuff.
Yes, it's a cool apartment, but have you seen the dream world?
Yeah, the dream world is right there, and I could just go there if I want to see, sights that would undo the psyche of a lesser mortal. This is just where I keep my things. I'm so excited. I love both of these characters so much. And now that we've met our characters, we've kind of talked through our memories, of the things that are on our character sheet, which we will kind of introduce as we play through them. We have characters that we are associated with, locations that are important to us, skills that we have picked up over the years, resources, which are the things that we use, the physical objects that we kind of rely on our day-to-day lives. We also have powers. Powers are the magical abilities that we pick up on. One of the sort of witchy traditions as we go through our magical year is taking those other elements of our lives, the people that we know, the locations we visit, and using them, using our connection to these things to find our magical powers. And in turn, we will use those magical powers to identify the incredibly powerful spells that we're putting in our spell book. This is done by what we'll describe as marking our powers during play. I'll talk through the individual things that we do as we do them, but the general gist is when we mark our powers, and we can then convert those powers into spellbook entries to say, I have learned I've learned a spell and here's the memory that is tied to it. And then as we do that, will represent us progressing through our magical year. And then at a certain point, our magical year will come to an end.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what these two get up to as we make our way through.
I am as well. So we have 4 seasons in front of us. We have a prompt sheet, which gives us a series of questions that we will answer through. The way that this works with 2 of us, we are assumed that we are answering each prompt together. One of us will roll. It'll take us to a prompt. We will answer that prompt. We will mark any objects that it says for us to mark, or one of us will mark an object. We'll play it by ear.
Sure.
But we'll share the prompts that we roll as we move back and forth until we create 2 spellbook entries, one for each of us, and then we'll move to the next season.
Sounds
the way that
good.
we decide on prompts is that we have a D6 and a D8. I'll go ahead and roll our first result. I'm going to roll our D8. That is a 7.
Good number.
And then I'm going to roll our D6. That is a 3. And now I'm going to subtract the D6 from the D8. So that is 7 minus 3 is 4. So we are going to move to prompt number 4, and we will answer the following question. You get lost and find yourself in an area you have not been before at a location. Someone you don't know approaches you and points you in the right direction. Add a character. Why do you get a strange feeling about them?
Oh, nice.
I like this a lot. Do you want to add a location or a character to your sheet?
Ooh, interesting. Well, I think that for the most part, since Babadora was in the city first, do you want to add the location and say where we end up? And
yeah,
I'll add the character that we interact with?
For sure. That sounds great. I think that the character or the location that we end up at is where are we go? Let me ask you this. What is what cool thing in the city has Babadora promised to show you that we have gotten horribly sidetracked heading towards?
Oh, can it please be some kind of I don't know if this was a thing of your teenage years or 20s, but not even dive bars. I'm talking obscure music venues, places that typically they should not even have live music there. And it was just some random place that we got lost trying to find because it's a basement of a, something or other, something ridiculous.
There was, in my college town, there was a family restaurant.
Oh, great.
And when I say a family restaurant, I mean it was a house that they converted the back den into a bar.
Whoa.
And then brought out some tables, and you would just go, and it was a house, and they had a weekly concert, open mic, poetry, coffee shop thing, but you would just all sit in what was very obviously a living room.
Incredible.
It fucking ruled. I think
that
about
does
that
sound awesome
all the goddamn time.
Oh, that's very funny. Because in my late teens, I was part of emo bands, so it would have been some hardcore band just going to town in somebody's living room.
some of the cool in the basement, the basement of a house. Some of the coolest things I've ever
for sure.
attended.
Yeah.
So we are deep in the suburbs or the suburban or the
we're not even we left the city. We're in a neighborhood.
Yeah, residential is the word I was looking. We're in a residential neighborhood, And we have found ourselves, at the only place that is open, which is a 24/7 trampoline gym. I am adding,
Yes.
This is called what's a funny name for a trampoline gym?
Ooh. Sproings?
Sproings, there it is. This is Sproings with an exclamation point, the 24/7 trampoline gym.
And it's late, right? Like, I mean, if we're young witches out here having a good time, like we're out here at like 1 in the morning.
We and part of that is that we, or Babadora more specifically, would not ask for directions until
never.
very, very late at night.
Yeah, and this is where the
Refused.
character comes in, right? We're gonna meet some character.
Yeah.
I don't know
who is the character that we have met that is going to help us along.
I don't
points
know.
us towards the party that we're going to.
I don't know why my first instinct was some like Oscar the Grouch trash magic person. I mean, like, because I was thinking big city, some guy's just like, oh, I know where everything is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But who could be out here in the residential areas? It could be
that's pretty magical if like a Hellboy goblin market motherfucker just like popped up and was like, I can tell you where you're going.
Full Pennywise, like out of like the sewers, right? But it's like a little trash goblin who's
That's
just like,
great.
Yeah. Okay, a little trash goblin comes out or pokes his head out and just goes like, oh, you looking for that place? Yeah, it's loud and clear down here. I'll take you if you just come down here in the sewers with me. Ooh, do you want to name this little sewer goblin fella?
Yeah, this is Scrungly.
Scrungly.
No, I'm going Scrungo.
Scrungo. Yes. He like, okay, and I mean, you can tell me if this is too much. I think that he's just so excited that we were like, yeah, we just want to go to this show. We want to go to this party. And he takes his time and is like, let me give you the full tour.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. These are the things I've collected down here.
I love the visual that, first off, there's the moment where Babadora, I think, sits quietly and is like, I can take you where you're going if you come down in the sewer. And it's like all right, this is either where we get murdered.
Right.
Or we get to the party. I'm willing to roll those dice.
Yeah, I think that something about this moment, Junie is, I mean, we know that she's kind of, one of her resources is like relentless optimism. That we literally gave it to her as a resource. So I think that she looked and was like, it feels good. I mean, he says he knows the way.
So I imagine there is like a full-on, almost shades, what I would almost describe as shades of like almost like a Dante's Inferno a little bit, or like like I mentioned it earlier, but like the Goblin Market sequence in Hellboy, where it is like we embark on a very short odyssey through like the sewer wastes. Yep. And it's just piles of stolen objects and like monsters poking around. And at least Babadora is just like, this is a cool hangout spot.
Yeah.
There's such a vibe here.
Yeah. We're definitely coming back, I think. Scrungo is our in.
We gotta. You know, we gotta come back.
You know when you go places and they're like, no, you're not allowed in. And you can be like, no, I know somebody. We're gonna like look in sewers and be like, Scrungo told us we could come down here.
You guys know Scrungo?
You guys know Scrungo?
You gotta know Scrungo.
So yeah, why do you get a strange feeling about them? That's pretty straightforward, I think.
I think the strange feeling is that like, God, this guy knows everything.
Yeah, right. He's like strangely in on the know about just about everything in the city.
I love this so much. Do you want to roll dice and give us our next prompt?
Sure. So a D8 minus a D6, correct?
Correct.
All right, here goes. D8. A 6, not bad. And a 2 on the D6 for another 4. Moves us up to 8. Do you want to read it or you want me to?
Go ahead, read it.
While caught in a downpour, running an errand, you get stuck with a magical character as you both wait out the storm somewhere. Add a magical character and a location. What shared interests do you bond over? Add a skill, resource, or location. Ooh. A little Totoro moment here.
A little bit of a Totoro moment.
I have a... You could cut this from the episode if you'd like, but I have he's about to turn 3-year-old son.
Mm-hmm.
And, he likes Disney. He likes all these movies or whatever. The other day, he saw Ponyo, and he was like, I want to watch this. And I was like, yeah, all right. And we've since gone through like 3 Ghibli movies, and he loves them, and I'm so pumped about it.
That's great. We love that. That's a great energy. I am going to take that suggestion and run with it in the furthest, wildest way possible.
Please do.
What do you want? What do you want? Death? What does death look like?
Oh,
like
excellent.
We're not dying, but like death is like we like get stuck in the rain with the spirit of death.
Death just hates the rain. Let's be honest. It's like
that's a great character beat. I really enjoyed that.
The one thing it can't deal with is just torrential downpour. What does death look like in this world? Ooh. I mean, I've always kind of loved the unexpected human, right? Like just like a nice old lady.
Sure, love that. I adore that. I also want to throw in the location. Let me think about this for a moment. What's the location where we hide out while stuck in the rain?
Right, and we're back kind of in... did we decide this is kind of like an urban city that we find ourselves in, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I'm picturing this is like a pretty large enough city that it's got, parks, residential neighborhoods. We'll throw in extra details as we need.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, what's the location that we were in the rain? I think that like we're waiting for a bus.
Maybe we were just bowling. One of your locations is a bowling alley. This has to be a new location. So we left the bowling alley. And
we left the bowling alley. We're heading back to my apartment.
Maybe we missed the bus and thought we can walk.
That's great.
We cut through an area and unfortunately there was just like no relief here. Maybe we cut through like a business district where
and
like
one of those like big massive park like open lots where it's just like there is no shade, no nothing, and we are just walking straight through the rain.
Yeah, these are businesses that close. Like these are office buildings, not businesses, right? So there's nowhere to just hop into a lobby at this hour. And of course Death would be hanging out here.
Yeah.
She's like, I just clocked out. I just got out of my office building. She's actually just she was doing desk work. She was catching up. Lots of paperwork for Death,
Lots of paperwork.
Yeah.
Lots of paperwork, and naturally she hangs out in the spot with the app. Like she exclusively does her office work in the places with the singular worst vibes.
Yes.
Which are almost exclusively office buildings.
Right. Super corporate.
And she is just like standing on a ledge watching watching, kind of like gives us a wave over, and we gotta just like hang out with her under the awning for a while. Like, man, this weather is awful.
Yeah. What's a shared interest we bond over with Death? What is a shared interest? What is Babadora like? I'm trying to remember both sides of our characters.
I love mixology. I love cryptozoology. I love music.
Let's go with... Wait, can it be something? Because I can communicate with animals, right? That was something that I decided was one of my skills. And you love cryptozoology. And maybe Death also loves animals and is like, man, I really hated making this one go extinct. You guys remember? It's like, you guys remember this animal? And we're like, oh, do we ever?
I want to take that and I want to put a spin on it that I think is extraordinarily funny.
Yes.
Death almost like Death also loves animals, and we all talk about it, but like all of Death's reference points are the animals that Death hangs out with, which are extinct animals.
Yeah, absolutely. Right.
Because like that, there's a really wonderful like we're all approaching different things. Like I'm telling you all about like I have a very elaborate fish tank.
Yes.
And so like I'm just talking about like maintaining fish, and Death will just pipe in and go like, oh, well, you know, the thing is like it's really the prehistoric underwater dinosaurs. They're so finicky. You know, they get real skittish, and you got to feed them particular food. And I'm like, how would I ever in my life?
Death kind of one-ups you, and she's like, oh, saltwater tank? Yeah, they're pretty hard to maintain. Imagine dinosaurs.
Cool. That's great.
Yeah. All right. So we bond over dead animals.
Dead animal, like bonding over animal care just in vastly different ways is very funny.
Nice. Okay, so we get to add a skill, resource, or location. What do we think? What's a good one of those?
I'm gonna add. I think we should each add our own. I am adding a resource, which is a friendly rivalry with Death.
Ooh, that's a good one.
And I am also adding Death as a magical character, the embodiment of Death.
I think we both get that one. That seems like a good one.
And I'm also going to add the location, downtown office parks.
All right. I will also add a resource, and I think that resource is going to be, I think Death gives me a seed of an extinct plant. And she's like, don't tell anyone I did this because I'm not exactly supposed to give things back, but, you know, thanks for hanging out with me because I hate the rain.
Love that. Okay, I'm going to roll our dice. That's a 2 and a 2.
Ooh,
which
so
means
we stay.
We stay exactly the same spot. We are at the 8. We move to the next prompt. While at home, another rainstorm hits out of nowhere and just doesn't stop. You suspect there's a magical cause. How do you investigate and help prevent flooding? Mark a power.
Ooh. All right. So we're halfway to powers getting through spring.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, something about this rain. This just ain't right. And we don't live together, correct? You have your apartment.
Yeah.
I can't remember where I said I lived. I think there was just like a dormitory for, you know, witches on their magical year.
So I have one power, which I am marking.
Ooh, you're already marking the power?
It says the prompt says for us to mark a power, so we're marked. So, I guess let's talk through the scene and we'll decide which one of us gets to mark a power. I think is the way.
Oh,
I think is the best way
so
to go.
we mark the power we already have. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
What do we think? How are we? I guess how are we helping to like? There is a magical rainstorm. How does your character help in the event of a magical rainstorm?
I don't think my power is very helpful. My power that I wrote down when we made our characters was that through Junie's work in the gardens, her whole childhood and early teen years with her great aunt, she has an affinity for, she can make any plant edible and taste like whatever she wants. So that doesn't exactly help in a flooding situation.
My power, I'm happy to figure out how my power, which feels marginally more helpful. My power, I wrote down the spell Cloud Centaur.
Cloud Centaur. I forgot about this. Yes, but with the arms, right? Like human arms in the front.
It's that like the cloud that emerges from the glass ball, from the crystal ball, that like also forms into my body, forms into a 4-legged like horse, like the bottom, the horse legs, and sort of turns me into a centaur. Horse legs, crystal ball middle, human arms and torso and head. Like,
so good.
It's a very straight, but like the main reason that I grew this is so that I could sit in car and have Cloud hands pilot the car, and I just sort of sit on top of the orb.
Right. I mean, that's luxury right there. That's luxury brand stuff. I think, but you know what? We could, depending on how strong your centaur cloud legs are, we could definitely say that you can move some things into place to divert floodwaters.
I like
You know?
that. I think that's a really wonderful. I think that's what it is. So I'm gonna go ahead and mark my Cloud Centaur power.
You, let me ask Babadora how she feels about, she invented this Cloud Centaur power for sheer luxury and kicking her feet up. And unfortunately, she has to use it like an actual workhorse. How much does she hate this?
I think that like there is a moment where she comes to love it so much that she absolutely will not reveal it. And really, it's not purely altruistic, her love of it. Like, there is a moment where she gets cheered as a hero,
Wow.
and that is infectious to, like, getting cheered is infectious to her.
Yeah, absolutely. Our
she is
hero.
like, oh, okay, yeah, this I can get used to.
Nice.
I really love Babadora a lot.
Yeah, your character is very, very cool. In my mind, I'm just like, this is the kind of witch that if you saw in a city, you'd be like, I don't know what that one's up to, but I'm glad they're around.
Yeah.
All right.
What is Junie or Jane? It's Junie.
Junie.
What is Junie like? What is Junie's? What are you up to as the flood is unfolding?
Yeah, you know what? So I do have a skill, which is Green Thumb. And I'm thinking about like other things I do. I also have animal communication. I think that I'm trying to use the limited power of nature as much as it exists in this city to aid you, right? So like if you're moving things to divert waters, maybe I'm, talking to animals, or you know what? I think maybe, she's asking plants to like dig their roots down deep so that way things don't like wash away.
Oh, that's lovely. That's
Yeah.
fantastic. I love that so much.
Yeah. I'm all about that cheese, that cozy cheese. That's what I'm about.
It's a good energy. It's a good energy. And on that note, why don't you roll us our next prompt?
Let's do it. D8, D6. Oh, we're going backwards.
Okay.
I got a 2 on the D8 and a 5 on the D6, so we're -3 down to 5. Which says, you hear that there's another new witch living nearby. Add a witch magical character. What do you find when you go to pay them a visit that makes you think you may not get along? And how do you attempt to make the best of an awkward situation? Mark a trait. Oh, nice. We're gonna get some you can't hang with us energy here.
What's I'm gonna leave this in your lap. I think I want to work backwards. I think the most fun thing for me is gonna be to work backwards.
Mm-hmm.
What's the bad vibe? And then we'll figure out who the character is once we've locked in what the bad vibe is.
I think the vibe is, do you know who my daddy is?
Oh no.
Is that fair? Is that mean?
That's very, very fair.
I think that this is a very privileged witch, and she's just coming from a place of, I don't need to go my magical year. You know what I mean? Like, this is ridiculous. I'm just here, Yeah, she's just like, I'm just here because I have to be. I'm not here to help people.
That's great.
Yep.
That's very funny.
So, how do we? Should we keep working backwards? How do you attempt to make the best of an awkward situation? Because technically, I assume it's expected that these young witches stick together or something like that.
I think that the situation. Let me look at the prompt one more time.
I have an idea actually, but by all means,
go for
take it. I was gonna say we tell her because she just wants to go like clubbing all the time and like she wants to party all the time, and we're like, all right, listen, we know that we're not getting along very well, but if you're interested, we know of a pretty exclusive place. We found it when we first got here. You got to go here and ask for Scrungo. And we send her to the sewers, which she will not like we like.
Oh, I think it is that we like, it's not that we send her to the sewers. It's that we invite her to the, like,
Yes.
Babadora is, like, going back in the sewer.
Even better.
It's like, I am descending into the sewer realm. Are you coming?
And we're like super excited to go back down there. Like, we can't wait
There's
to go back
so
down
much weird stuff. You have no idea.
to the sewer goblin bazaar. And this girl could not hate it more.
This girl is like, my dad is the Lich King. I do not go into sewers. I fly where I need to go. I don't walk through the sewer.
What is her name? Because we do need to add her as a character. I just write, we bring her to Scrungo. And I got to look up traits.
Her name is Molly Morgul.
Molly Morgul is such a good name. And that means that there's like a high warlock Morgul. And that's great world building right there.
Lord Morgul
Lord
of the time
Morgul.
before.
Lord Morgul.
Have you heard of my dad? His name is Lord Morgul of the time before.
Everyone just kind of like, oh my, of course, right, of course, Lord Morgul.
Oh, of the time of the New England time before?
Of the Boston Morgul's?
Yeah, of Boston in the time before. Sure.
Boston Morgul's. Oh man. All right. So it says to mark a trait. I don't know if we have a trait. Do we?
I believe, let me just confirm, but I believe traits are all of our things.
Oh, it's anything. Yeah, okay. Fair enough.
Traits are all of our details, our locations, characters, resources, skills, powers, everything is a trait. You can mark whatever you like.
All right. Are we both marking this? Or since you marked your power last time, should I mark one of mine?
Oh, sorry, correction. Everything except power is a trait, but go ahead and mark a trait.
I think that this is a good one for relentless optimism.
That feels good. That feels great.
And I think that it's just like, listen, this girl kind of sucks. And she probably thinks the same of us, but you never know, Scrungo might turn it all around. And it's this optimism that I think Babadora knows is not going to work. Not going to work at all. But you're just like, no, this is great. We're absolutely taking her down.
Oh, for sure. It's one of those, you pitch the idea and like it's the only way that Babadora can respond to Judy pitching the idea is like, we're for sure doing that. Yeah. Absolutely.
All right. So does that mean we're done with spring?
No, we continue to mark powers. What happens is when we have a power marked, we can at any point that feels right convert that into a spellbook entry.
Ooh,
so basically, and you can, when prompted, convert any traits that are marked can be converted into powers. So like, you can take your optimism now that it's been marked, and when prompted, it will say like convert a trait into a power. You can turn that trait into a power, and then once it's a power, you can mark it. And once you have a marked trait, you can, at any time that feels appropriate, turn that into a spell book memory, which is like a particularly powerful spell, how you learned it, what you remember about it, what the really like key details are. And then once we have each done that once, or one of us has done that twice, we will end the season.
That's awesome. Okay.
So there's kind of a funnel, or like a funnel or a cycle that is very sick to the way that the game plays.
It actually, I mean, just from a nerding out over design, and like, I love how clever people are with these things. There's a classic, progression, and you wouldn't call it a power progression in this game, right? Because it's not about being powerful, but it's turning something that worked for you once into something slightly more, applicable and usable, into something core like a memory, into something like, this is so integral to what I'm becoming that it's one of my spellbook powers. That's really, really great.
It's very sick. It's very, very sick. I really enjoy it. All right, I'm going to roll us a memory. That's double ones. Nice. We are staying with our dear friend Molly Morgul.
Yeah.
You happen upon the witch alone somewhere, clearly about to attempt a ritual. What do you know about the ritual? What do you do to help them complete it or to hinder them? And we will mark a skill, resource, or power.
Whoa. Okay. Yeah. What is Molly Morgul doing?
What is Molly Morgul doing?
Hmm. Can we say, as, I mean, again, tell me this is good or not good. I think she's she's like summoning a friend she has that should definitely not be here, right? Like her
Oh,
dad's in some
yeah.
weird circles, right?
Oh, yeah. The hell dragon of the ninth gate. Sure.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, exactly, right? She's just like, Daddy told me I could ride the Hell Dragon of the Ninth Gate, and he never did it. He said I have to wait till after my magical year. Well, I'll show him. I'm gonna get it myself.
That's very funny.
Uh, it's like it's the entitled witch version of like getting a Lexus for your 16th birthday.
Like, oh, we can't. That's not great.
Sorry.
That Oh, no. That was in character.
Okay.
To be clear, that was very funny. That was Babadora reacting to the dragon in character.
Yeah, and so what do we do? What do we know about this ritual? And what do we do? Do we help her or do we hinder her?
I mean, I think that's a individual question for each of us. Is Junie
Sure.
gonna help her? What do we? I guess let's each name the thing that we know about the ritual.
Okay. I think that let's see. I kind of want to like incorporate things that I haven't used yet. So I've used my green thumb. Maybe this is where my you know what? I'm going to use a resource again, which is going to be my notebook that I wrote down. Junie's magical resource is a notebook that she either writes her lyrics in or sketches, like when she's at her diner that she goes to all the time, or just journal entries. But every once in a while, this is like where her magic has manifested itself. She thinks it's going to be from her music, but it's really about her like distilling the perfect essence of a moment. And something about just seeing Molly Morgul attempting this ritual, just because I think that Junie draws whatever like the magic circle or, markings that Molly has been drawing down to be like, I'm going to study this later. But she draws it and it activates. Or like it's like something about it becomes clear to her. Is that too much? Should I not?
No, that's fucking great. I love this. I was making notes because I am doing a very big thing here.
Yes, go big.
I'm gonna mark a resource, or I'm gonna mark a skill, but I'm also converting my power into a spellbook memory.
Yes.
Because I think that the thing that Babadora knows is that like this dragon loves fighting, but in the way that like a dog, like but like the kind of play fighting that like a dog likes to play fight.
Yes.
It's like a very specific kind of like if you establish to the dragon that you are play fighting, it will play fight with you and it will work to not hurt you because it wants to train itself in fighting and it wants to see it as like a play activity.
Excellent. It's a puppy.
Yeah. And so the skill that I am marking is con artistry.
Perfect.
I'm gonna hustle. I'm hustling because this dragon has been summoned and is obscenely dangerous. For being a puppy, it is also a puppy the size of a dragon that spits fire and bile from the pits of hell. So I am using con artistry, and I am also converting my power into a spellbook memory. Once Junie helps to accidentally summon the dragon,
the Hell Dragon of the Ninth Gate,
I think you see in front of you my Cloud Centaur form take shape and then start to grow to become the size of like a kaiju, and it like envelops me like a mech, like a cloud mech.
Oh my goodness.
And I form the Cloud Beast of Cosmos, which is like a giant, like there are tentacles jutting out of its back as like clouds burst out in all directions.
Yes.
And I proceed, the con artistry is that I start to wrestle this dragon as though we are two puppies wrestling each other. It's a lot of like rolling around and like, a quick pin and then jumping up and kind of like bouncing around. It's a lot of thrashing each other.
Amazing.
It spits fire. The cloud catches the fire and swirls it around so that it doesn't hit a building. But like, it's a lot of like, we are both like throwing things as possible.
Yep.
We're both throwing everything that we have, but in a way that we are both trying not to hurt the other. Like, it is a very different kind of con artistry. And I am doing this to wear out the Hell Dragon of the Ninth Gate, but also to show off a little bit and be like, look at this. Look how cool I am with my cool cloud monster. Everybody, look, the cloud monster is saving the day. Isn't this cool?
Yeah,
Don't
you're
you
going for
love
the
this?
glory again. It turns into like a kaiju-sized like wrestling match, and there's people just like cheering for either side as like the tide turns. And Molly Morgul just turns around and it's like, what the hell? Like, what is going on?
Finally, like, it's not so much that either side gets defeated. It's
Right.
that, like, the dragon, like, walks in a circle, plops down, like, puts its, like, long neck under one of its leg, or under one of its paws. The cloud beast just, like, collapses into dust. The crystal ball almost falls and cracks,
Oh.
but I catch it landing back first. It's very painful.
Showmanship.
I'm holding the crystal ball, and it's just a full act of, like, oh, fuck. Oh, fuck.
Oh no. Yeah. Junie's just looking like, oops. Just holding the notebook like, sorry.
Yeah.
You okay?
That ruled. That ruled, right? We're in
Yeah.
agreement that kicked ass?
It's the pause of like, are they okay? And then you just kind of go like, was that cool? And everyone just erupts like, yeah. Yeah.
And then just
Falls
out
back
like a
down.
light. The second that she hears cheering, it's like, we're done. I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out cold.
A roar. Yeah, perfect. Molly Morgul may be a lot of things, but I think that this is turning into a pretty great relationship. All right, so do I roll one more time for spring until one of us marks another power? Is that how this is going?
Yeah. We're gonna keep going. I think we'll probably play through spring and then leave it. But yeah, we're gonna keep rolling until we get a second spellbook memory.
This is great. All right, here goes. We're going backwards one more time. That's a 4 on the D8, 5 on the D6. So we're going back to 4, number 2 here. So this is after we met Death, right? Or no? This is after
where
we
we
met
met Scrungo.
All right. Sometime later, you find yourself lost again, near the same spot you got lost before. How do you react when you realize something is drawing you to that area? Mark the location, and what do you think is drawing you? And why do you leave before finding out? Oh, well, that changes it. I was going to say Scrungo got lonely, but...
I have such, if I may,
Please.
there is something, because like the crucial thing is that the location that I added is not like Scrungo's domain.
Oh, the trampoline gym.
What immediately pops into my head is the question of why the fuck do you have a 24-hour trampoline gym?
Sproings.
Why is Sproings open 24 hours?
It's a front.
Why is
for
it
sure.
always open?
This is definitely like a laundering operation.
Oh, see, I want to take that even a notch further. This is like Sproing's 24-hour trampoline gym that is out in a residential neighborhood that is the only thing open when you are lost.
Oh.
It is a Junji Ito story.
Oh, is it ever?
There is a close-up shot of both of us back in front of Sproings, and we get the close-up Junji Ito face shot with the beads of sweat.
This
and
is
the sunken
inevitable.
eyes.
Sproings is inevitable.
You will enter Sproings.
You will Sproing.
Jump on the trampoline.
So now, does that mean that we got to go in? Oh no, because we don't go in. It says it's drawing us. It says, why do you leave before finding out? Well, obviously.
Do you have I have a moment that I think is funny, but if you have an answer, please answer it.
Ooh. I don't know that I do. Let me see. I have my familiar, which I have not yet mentioned, which is a sentient piece of cloth called Stitch that is just usually just around my neck as a scarf. I think maybe it's like pulling me away as a parachute.
That's funny. That's very funny.
But if you got something else, by all means.
No, that's great. I'm gonna throw my moment in, but I think it's even funnier to reject the moment that's in my head, which is both of us with the close-up shots and the beads of sweat. We're looking at the gym. Babadora just looks over to Junie. So this is definitely like an Eldritch horror situation, right? Like it's gotta kill us when we walk in there, right?
I'm expecting at any moment the ground to turn into a trampoline.
But we're still gonna go in, though, to be clear, right?
I think Junie, you see her, and she has relentless optimism, for sure, which I've already checked, so maybe it's the relentless optimism. This is a combo check for me here, where it's going to be like, she looks and just says, like, maybe it's just a trampoline park. She goes, like, it could be fun.
And your scarf immediately starts dragging you away.
Yanks me away.
And I have marked Sproings the trampoline gym because it is truly, I look at your scarf dragging you back. I'm like, fine, we'll come back later when we have prepared a series of wards to defeat whatever's inside.
Oh, now I kind of want to find out what's in Sproings. Like, this is why we came here for our magical year. It's like, we will.
We're both like back in the dormitory, like dining hall later, despite the fact that like I have my own apartment. We're just sitting around like bowls of cereal, just going like, we got to know what's in Sproings, right?
Right. We go full montage mode of like getting the blueprints and like
there's no record of Sproings.
Yeah, no,
it
can't
never
find it.
existed.
Nothing.
There's no registering of the name Sproings. Like this trampoline gym does not exist, and it's just like both of us just going, well, that just makes me want to go more.
Right, and then we're like, wait a second. We have a moment where we're like, wait a second. The first time we were going to that basement show in that family's house. The second time we were going somewhere else, but we were on the opposite side of town, and Sproings was still there.
Okay, so it's following us. So we're in agreement that it's following us, that it's showing up to kind of like, it's being wherever to draw us to our deaths.
Or just a really good jumping around time.
Or just a really good jumping around. I mean, like, the problem is, either way, it's making me really want to go to Sproings even more, and like, I'm not ready for that.
We could get a full, like, ridiculous modern horror movie ending, right? Where like it ends with just us with these forced smiles jumping on a trampoline.
That's funny.
I'm having fun.
All right, I'm gonna roll us our next memory.
Let's see where we end up.
I love that we've now picked up the shared hobby of just obsessing over the trampoline park.
Absolutely.
That is a 7 minus 4 is 3, so we are at 4 and we are going to 7.
Okay.
Ooh, a character takes you out to a restaurant to meet their friends. Add 2 characters and a restaurant location. What dish do you order that's the best or worst you've ever had?
That's a great prompt.
Great prompt.
So, do you have a character we haven't mentioned yet that's somebody that delivers food?
And I do openly have a crush on them. So, like, it works.
Are we going on a double date?
I think we are going on a double date.
Ooh.
We're going on here is what I like about this. Because we are adding 2 characters. And I'm also invoking the character that's already on my sheet.
Yep.
So I'm actually this is a game design question. I'm gonna go ahead. Is it all right if I just go ahead and mark this character rather than introducing a second character?
I think so. I think that works.
Then Jackson, who traditionally is the delivery person, they them pronouns, who comes and delivers my poke bowls. I finally asked Jackson on a date. They are
you made the
bringing
first
a
move?
friend.
I love that.
Who is their friend who you are meeting for a double date, and then what is the restaurant that we are going to?
Ooh, the friend's name is Amarilla, and she is, she's kind of I think they probably have the same job, right? Like they're like delivery people. They're like Uber Eats bicyclists in the city. And they thought that Junie would hit it off with Amarilla. So, yeah.
And we are at
the cafe in Sproings. No.
We are at the Sproings Juice Bar.
Yeah, the pizza bar at Sproings. No. I had a diner as one of my locations, but I don't want to like double up on the already had them. So
I am saying this is adjacent to a location that I've got marked. There is I've got the local bowling alley marked. This is the pizza place that is next door to next door / like built into the bowling alley.
Yo, yeah. Yep. So we got a pizza by the slice kind of spot. All right. So what do you order that's either the best or worst, assuming pizza you've ever had?
I am adding. So this is I am changing something on my character sheet because I thought of a funny name for a pizza place that also tells me the theming of the bowling alley.
Oh, yes.
Bowling alley is called Pinhead's Alley. This is Slasher's Pizza. They are both bad horror movie themed.
Yes. Like super cheesy. Love it. Oh, that's also a pizza joke.
Yeah.
Wow, that works really well. Somebody should.
I'm very happy. I mean, honestly, I think that we've got our business venture ahead of us.
Somebody should get on this. Yeah.
We're done with this podcast nonsense. Now we get into the sweet spot money.
Right. All right. So what's your pizza order, Babadora? What's your pizza order?
Pizza order is the...
Oh, are they all like renamed to be horror movie kind of?
The Candyman pizza.
Oh no.
Which is not a dessert pizza. But well, actually, let me ask you: which is better? Is it that this is an inexplicable dessert pizza that does not factor into the aesthetics of the film Candyman, or is this a savory pizza with hot honey to reflect the fact that Candyman has a whole bee thing going on?
Oh, that works too. I was gonna say bees. I was gonna say the Candyman is actually a special order where whatever you ask for a topping, they put it on 3 times. But
that's great.
You just get triple the amount.
It's triple pepperoni and hot honey, which turns it back around to being the worst because it's just too much.
There's so much. There's way too much on that.
The pepperoni is not like adequately sticking to the pizza, and because it's been coated in hot honey, it is falling everywhere. It is sticking everywhere. Flavor-wise, it's on point. Experience of eating-wise, it is the worst.
Yeah, it would just be, it probably looks great, or on paper sounds great, but actually chewing that much pepperoni and honey, like it's nothing but texture in your mouth. That's just too much.
It's just a bad experience.
Yeah. All right. So I got to think of what Junie's pizza order would be. She seems like a real veggie pizza kind of person, right? Mm-hmm. So maybe it's like how is this in fact truly my calling? What, the pinheads with slasher slices?
Because let me pitch you a pizza slice if you're thinking veggie. Audrey 2 is a very good name for a veggie pizza slice.
Yes, I was thinking like Seymour. I was trying to think of something from Little Shop. That's so good.
Or like the somewhere that's the some slice that's green.
Yeah. Oh, some slice that's green is good. And you can have another one for the dentist. But yeah, actually, and the reason that, unlike yours being the worst you've ever had, the reason that this is the best that Junie has ever had is only because she can change any plant to taste like whatever she wants. So the first bite, not great. And then she just turns it into the best pizza she's ever had.
Sure. Love this. Love this for us.
Wow. This is, yeah. Oh, can you imagine? Like this bowling alley, right? You got all your neon lights, your black lights, all the horror movie, pinball machines. This place rules.
I need you to imagine the mascot statue in front of it is like a large Ronald McDonald style sculpture
Sitting on a bench.
of Doug Bradley from Pinhead.
Yes.
Pinhead from Hellraiser. But instead of actual pins, they are bowling pins.
Oh my gosh. That's so good.
This place rules.
Yeah, this place does definitely rule.
I am obsessed.
I would go here. I'd join a bowling league. I'm going to be honest. I'd join a bowling league here.
I would.
You get all the animations. All the bowling animations are just like recreations of classic horror movie murders.
I would. Fuck. I'm sold. I'm sold. All right. Give us a new memory.
Where do I get a loan? Give us a new memory. Yeah.
Or rather, a new prompt, rather. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Here goes. All right. We're moving forward to number 9.
Number 9.
You spend the day with a character your age as they work on schoolwork. Create a character if needed. They lament the fact that you don't have to go to school. So how do you respond? This is a funny one because we've been like very adult in our teenage years, magical year. So just some unsuspecting high schooler. It's just like,
I have a pitch. Like this I think flows pretty naturally from our last ones of like the lovely folks that we've been double dating like in college or grad school and are like and then because like what's really great about that is that like it's a school that they've opted into, but because we never went to school, like there is no commonality to the experience.
Right, they're doing like calculus and we're like, I'm sorry, I mess with symbols all the time, this makes no sense. Who came up with this? This is garbage.
I learned how to make cloud monsters from a caveman.
Right. And they're just like, yeah, but who was the 15th president? What? Excuse me? I know the great warlock Morgul. The great. Do you mean
Morgul?
Do you mean Morgul? We operate by like an entirely different governmental system of witches.
Morgul the 15th?
Yeah, of the Boston Morgels?
I fucking hate the Morgels. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah, so that's actually hysterical. The just disconnect of...
Just a fundamental, just cannot...
I think that, and you know what? Because Junie is just so optimistic, I just keep leaning on this. I think that she and Amarilla are hanging out, and Amarilla's just like, I can't look at this homework for like one more second. And Junie's like, I'll do it for you. But if you don't mind, like I have a part-time job at like the plant shop. Do you mind just going and taking care of the plants? And we both just have the worst time. The worst time.
That's very
flunk
funny.
Her homework. She gets the worst grade she's had all semester. And she probably comes back and is like, you didn't tell me those plants were like carnivorous.
Are your plants not carnivorous?
Wait, did you talk to them? Were you mean to them? I could talk to the plants? Yeah. just a great classic miscommunication there.
All right. I have rolled us a prompt. We are moving ahead by 1 to 10.
All right.
A magical creature is producing a magical resource you gather in the spring. How do you locate them? At a location where the creature is. What special technique do you use to gather it? Add a skill and a magical resource.
Ooh, interesting. Now see, I know I go for the cheesy, corny answers, and obviously this seems like a plant thing, but I'm not doing it.
Okay.
Jeff, tell me if you like this. One of the locations we haven't talked about yet that I created in our character creation was the amphitheater in this city.
Yeah.
Which is like, I don't know if it's like built on ley lines, but we said it was like some like powerful acoustic amplifier and like had some kind of magical monumental properties. I think maybe there's like a bird species that sits there and sings. And I think that Junie wants to use her magical notebook to like capture the essence of it.
Love that.
And as a curator of music, I mean, like, you might also enjoy sampling, or like, you know, talking to people about this bird song.
Yeah. I like this so much. I'm gonna throw a pivot on here.
Yes.
Because it says add a skill and a magical resource. I'm going to say, instead of adding a skill, convert your notebook,
Oh,
which
yeah.
is your resource, right?
Yep.
Convert that to a power.
Yes, absolutely. I think that it is effectively, and I'm going back to my teenage years here. I don't know how to read sheet music as a musician, but I've been playing music for like 20 something years. And I used to use a program that was like, you made guitar tablature and it played it back in MIDI. So I could just throw a bunch of numbers on the screen and be like, does this make sense? Do these songs sound good together? And Junie has figured out a way to basically write musical notation in her notebook, and it plays it back to her. It is like self-playing sheet music. Does that seem good?
That seems great. That seems very, very good. I am going to add a magical resource onto my character sheet. I've still got my record collection, my complex fish tank, too many cats.
Ooh, too many cats. It's a choir. You teach your many cats.
I am adding. What do I want my resource to be?
As somebody who doesn't like making music but likes listening to music, you could have a thing that, like, maybe your records aren't just other people's music.
I was just going to write down, I think I've just got birdsong. Like, I think it is that, like, wherever I am in the city, like, I am hearing this magical bird music.
Beautiful. Yes.
Is very good.
You full Snow White it.
Yeah. Okay, give us our next prompt.
All right, let's do this. Now, was that me marking a power, or is that?
That is you gaining a new. That is you converting an ability, converting
right.
something to a power.
Okay. I'll get used to this. All right, that is +4. That is a 8 on the D8, 4 on the D6. So we're going up to 14.
Yeah.
All right. Oh boy, 2 characters are in an argument. How do you get involved to help, only to end up making things worse? Mark a skill or power.
What's it? Pick one of the character. Here's what I want to do.
Yes.
Without consulting the other, pick one of the characters on your sheet, and I will do the same.
I want to throw a curveball so hard.
I've got mine ready.
I'm ready.
All right, what do you got?
Stitch, my familiar.
I've also thrown a curveball.
Yes.
How has Stitch gotten into an argument with a visiting Gorthus the Old?
Oh my gosh. Yes, excellent. Oh, that's a great question. What is Gorthus's, like? I know a Mike Mignola, right? Like, just
old, like, half stone and moss, like, very moves with the earth, very, like, big gigantic forearms, just, like, stony and rocky and large and impossibly old, has never smiled in his life.
Ooh, can we maybe he just uses Stitch as like a hand rag. Like, doesn't even realize. Just catches it out of midair and it's just like, yeah, that works. Just makes an absolute mess of Stitch.
We come in. So, like, what I have envisioned is, like, this happens in another room from where we're at. And we, like, turn a corner and Stitch has, like, a boa, like, there is a boa constrictor battle with Stitch and Gorthus of, like, terror. Like, Stitch is trying to strangle Gorthus. Gorthus is trying to tear Stitch apart because of this misunderstanding that is just turning into a thrashing.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, like, he stretches out Stitch, and Stitch, instead of going boa mode, it, like, goes full Santa's sack and just goes over all the way, but then he's, like, pushing. We see, like, hands and, like, the face imprint on the inside pushing out. Just ridiculous fighting here. So we have to mark a skill or power, but we make this worse.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Excellent.
I've seen the skill that I am marking to make it worse.
Okay, I think so too.
I think Babadora makes it worse because Babadora jumps into, I'll calm everybody down to some drinks. I'm gonna make some drinks and runs over, grabs her like, what's it called? What's the soda infuser called? The
Like a
little
soda
jar
stream?
thing. Grabs like the little like canister, and starts like trying to make it's like grabs like the soda jerk or whatever the thing is called, and
Like a
tries to,
carbonator? Like the soda
carbonator,
streams or
yes.
whatever? Yeah.
Like grabs the carbonator, she grabs the carbonator, tries to like activate it, but like goes too hard immediately and just sprays everything everywhere.
Excellent. All right. So my power is not helpful. So I'm looking at my skills, and I think that I want to use one I haven't used yet, which is Junie has a way to like completely disarm people with like a strange, curious calm. And she walks in and immediately is just like, she tries to do the thing where she distills that essence of like what was the miscommunication, like what happened here, and she tries to like clock it, and then she just says like, Stitch, like, what are you doing? And Stitch just gets mad because Junie didn't take its side.
Sure.
And now all of a sudden it's just like even more all over the place. It's soaking wet.
That's so funny.
Your apartment's very cool, but it's also very chaotic right now.
The apartment is like almost ruined. There is seltzer water everywhere. There was a fight in here.
One of your fish like chomped onto Stitch when part of it went into the thing, and it's just swinging a fish around.
Yeah.
It's like, can we get the a fish slaps Junie in the face? Slow motion fish slap.
That's so funny.
All right.
Let me roll. Is it your turn to roll a prompt or mine?
That was me. That was mine.
All right, then I'm going to roll us a prompt. We are moving backwards by 4.
Oh, back down.
One of the magical creatures followed you home, and does not want to leave. That's so funny.
Oh boy.
That's so funny because we said that like I have collected the resource of birdsong.
Yeah.
I'm so fucking sick of birdsong.
Yeah, it got old fast. Well, and you have too many cats, and this is a bird.
My apartment is being ruined.
Yes.
Birds keep landing and singing this music that is infused with a magic older than time, and then a cat tries to eat it. This is hell.
Yeah, there's cat scratches on every wall, on every surface.
I'm already trying to repair the damage from Gorthus. He's very large and he's mostly made of stone.
This is why you spend all your time in the dream realm, you know?
It doesn't happen in the dream realm.
Right. When you pull one of those, when I come back out here, it better be clean. You come out, it's worse.
Oh my god, it's so much worse.
I think that okay, let's see. Mark a power or magical resource.
I mean, I got my magical resource of too many cats.
You know what? I think that, so I made a magical resource, which was the sheet music, right? Or is that now a power?
That's a power.
Okay. What if I mark that power now and learn how to take music away from things?
That's great.
So now I can shut up the birds for you.
That's great. I am marking my magical resource because I think that you reveal that you have this power as I am like revealing that I have been training the cats, and it's a little bit of a threat of like, I have trained these cats. If you don't have some kind of magical power, then we're going to have, you have a magical power.
Yeah, right. These cats, like, you say like a code word and they just go into full like sleeper agent cat mode.
And like you're like, I could take the music away, and I'm like, oh.
Well, I didn't, and then you see Junie look very innocent and is like, I didn't know I could do it. I was just trying. I just figured it out.
Well, I mean, that's way more convenient. Frankly, I would have felt awful if I had gone with my plan.
All the cats stopped at the exact same moment. All eyes lock on one one thing. Like, oh gosh. So
Okay.
does marking that power. All right.
That means at any time you can turn that power into a spellbook memory.
Should I do that so we can? Or you want to roll one more, or what do you want to do?
Let's roll one more.
Let's
And then
roll
we'll go until you've got the right moment. But like if we want to go in like one or two more, let's do one or two more.
All right, let me roll and see where we go. We're moving forward to our first 12, which says, you tag along with a character on their grocery shopping trip. What do they buy that perplexes you? And what do you purchase for yourself? Add a resource. Who's going grocery shopping?
Oh, I really want it to be the embodiment of death.
Oh, yes, absolutely. We definitely are going grocery shopping with Death.
We offered to help her pick up her groceries. It's the right thing to do.
And now this is a great question, considering that we're dealing with Death here. What does she buy, or what does it buy that perplexes us? What is Death looking for?
I had an idea. The answer, first idea, best idea. Popped in going with the answer that made me laugh. It's so many energy drinks. We get to the grocery store. She proceeds to go to each of the little coolers next to the cash registers.
Oh,
she goes to each one of these.
The front ones.
Grabs each individual energy drink.
Yep.
And is just filling her cart.
I love the idea too that as she approaches them, like anytime she approaches something that has a fluorescent light, it just goes out.
And she's just like taking energy drink. And I'm just...
Yeah, Junie looks at her and it's like, I'd ask if that's good for you, but I guess it doesn't really matter.
She can't be... Barbadora just whispers to Junie, she can't be drinking all of those, right?
If she's not, who are they for?
I have so many I have so many questions. Like, you would at least expect like brand loyalty.
Yeah, they're every different flavor, every different brand. Doesn't even matter.
Like you would at least expect her to like stick to Monster. I want to write down a resource.
Oh yeah. So what do we get for ourselves at the grocery store? All right.
What do I get? What do you grab? That's such a good question. What do you grab from the grocery store?
Yeah. See, I'm tempted to say Junie just always grabs like spinach, which sounds so dumb, but if she can make it taste like whatever she wants, it's great. But I think that this time, it's a special trip here with Death. You know what? I kind of want to add one energy drink that I just take and see if Death like steals it out of my hands.
Sure. Does not even notice.
While she's rating the front ones, I run to one of the other ones because I don't think maybe Junie's like never had one of those like real hardcore energy drinks, and she just grabs one and like cracks it in the store to be like, I have to try a sip.
What does Junie think?
Immediately wants more.
Love it. I have written down a cow tail.
Okay.
I don't know why. I just think Barbadora being like, yeah, I really like cow tails. A little caramel, a little powdered sugar, a little cream in the middle. It's great. It's such an uncool candy. It feels right.
Yep. It's definitely, you know what? That's fitting. That's fitting for Barbadora.
I am going to roll our next prompt. That is a 5 minus 2 is 3. We were at 12. That brings us to 15.
Oh boy.
A child character wants to see you use your magic. Add a child character if needed. How do you feel about indulging them? Mark a power, and they become obsessed with you. Mark the character.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I kind of want... This is a perfect moment for Junie to, like, really use the power I've marked, right? And turn it into a spellbook memory. And it's, like, the first step in her dream, her relentless optimism of being like, I'm going to change people's life with magical music. Doing it with a kid that becomes obsessed with it. Like, it works really well. This is happy ending kind of stuff.
This feels good. I am going to, we got to figure out who this kid is, but as you are activating a spellbook memory, I am, instead of marking a power, I am going to, mark a resource and turn it into a power? Because I have a very funny option for that.
Yes.
So who's the kid?
Yeah, great question. Let's see. I'm looking at like characters. So there's one character I didn't bring up, which is a luthier who like made Junie's ukulele.
Love that.
It could be like, a relative of theirs, but at the same time, it could just be just a random kid.
I kind of like it being, because I think there's a good connection there. Like there's a good like we have a connection to this kid.
Yeah, and actually it works out too, right? Because they could be here, maybe Bastion, or if it's a grandkid, they're here visiting the city and they figured they'd check in on Junie because there's that connection. Like, how's things going with your music and your magical year? And Junie can be like, look at the magic I've been developing with music. So we're going to name this child, and his name is going to be Rudy. We're just going to go with Rudy.
Rudy's good. Rudy's classic.
All right. So Rudy comes and checks in with Junie. And, Baba Dora's got her record collection. I mean, it's just like, there's like plenty of connection there with music. And Junie is happy to indulge Rudy with this, and basically does like a little thing where she just says like, hum a tune. And he hums a little tune, and she like captures it in her notebook. And then she uses her notebook like a loop station where she plays that tune over and over. She plays her ukulele with it. And basically like she realizes that her notebook is like a multi-instrumental kind of, she could put on her own shows with like everything.
Love that. This also ties in nicely to growing my power, which is I just taught a bunch of cats to follow my commands. Yes. And now I have the power cat dance troupe.
Oh my gosh. I mean, of course.
So there is an entire show and dance of like making cats like clapping my hands, and all of my too many cats are like jumping around and doing flips. You are conjuring this music.
Oh my gosh.
We capture this memory. Our springtime comes to an end, and for now, I think that's game.
That was, what an ending. Cat gymnast dancing all over the place. I don't know why I imagine them with top hats and canes.
That feels right. I mean, that's 100% correct. They have top hats and canes.
Oh, thank you, Jeff.
This ruled. This was fantastic. Thank you so much for playing this with me.
Thank you for having me on.
What was your favorite moment from play?
Oh, boy. Honestly, Scrungo.
Fair.
Hands down. Or maybe Death, but Scrungo was just such a fun, flavorful start, really.
I will never stop thinking about Sproing's Eldritch Trampoline Gym.
Yeah, Sproing's is probably objectively the correct answer, I think.
Oh, this ruled. Thank you so much for playing this with me. I had so much fun with this game. This was absolute joy. Before we wrap up, where can people find you and your work online?
Sure. So you can find my podcast at Rene Plays Games. You can search that. It's on all the major podcast apps or whatever. My friends and I, occasionally I'm on there streaming under DMs After Dark. You can find us on Twitch. And otherwise, you can look up on social media, Rene Plays Games. My name is Rene, but it sounds like bad weather. Yeah, I'm still a small kind of just dude going about trying to have some fun. So say hi.
Fantastic. Well, thank you again for playing this with me. I am overjoyed. This was fantastic. And for now, I'm going to throw it over to me in the future so that he can wrap up with the show. Take a future me. Thanks, past me. And thanks again to Rene for coming on to the show. That game was positively delightful is the word that I would use. Just bubbly and fun and energetic and a little bit weird and silly. It hit all of the buttons for something really, really spectacular. Be sure to pick up your own copy of Magical Year at a Teenage Witch at swashtalk.itch.io, and be sure to check out Rene Plays Games for more wonderful tabletop experiences wherever you get your podcasts or on social media at Rene Plays Games. You can also find us on pretty much whichever social media you prefer at Party of One Pod or Jeff Stormer, depending. And if you enjoy the show and you want to support it, there's a lot of different ways you can do that. Subscribe to our newsletter at buttondown.email/partyofonepodcast, and join our Discord community at bit.ly/partyofonediscord. supporting. You can support us financially at patreon.com/JeffStormer or Ko-fi.com/JeffStormer. You can give us a nice iTunes review, shout us out to a friend, give us some love on social media. You can buy some Party of One merch at bit.ly/PartyOfOneMerch. Or if you're looking for more great podcast content, you can check out All My Fantasy Children, which is a character creation, storytelling, and world-building podcast that I make with my best friend in the world, Aaron Catano Saez. We take a listener-submitted prompt and spin it into an original fantasy character, populating a shared universe one story at a time. You can also check out Yazeba's Bed and Breakfast, which is an actual play about a heartless witch, a cozy house, and the many people making their homes inside. Both of those you can find wherever you get your podcasts. Party of One is, as always, produced and edited by Jeff Stormer and Jen Frank. Music for the show comes from the song Infinite Lives by Mega Ran featuring the D&D Sluggers, and the Party of One logos by Evan Rowland. If you'd like to inquire about advertising rates, coming on the show as a guest, or about press coverage of the show, you can email me at partyofonepodcast@gmail.com. And unless I am mistaken, that is all we do here. So until next time, thank you so much for listening. Remember to fight the forces of fascism every single day. Remember that self-love and self-care are radical and defiant acts of resistance. And as always, party on, everybody.